Hello guys, today I'll be ranking all the Machine Head albums. I'll just be focusing on the main studio albums, no EPs, live albums, compilations, or anything like that. Again, just the main studio albums. But yeah, if you guys follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you'll know that I recently saw this band live last night actually, and yeah, pretty killer show. I also did do VIP for the show, and meaning that I got to watch them do sound check, and also they signed these posters for us. That poster right there, which I have hanging on my wall, right under my Rush poster. That was pretty damn cool. And I also got them to sign another thing, which you'll see what that is later in the video. But also, I did manage to get a picture with Robb Flynn and also a picture with their bass player, Jared. But yeah, here's the picture of me with Robb Flynn. Pretty cool. Then we also got a picture with Jared too. And also, while they were doing the signings, I also did get a fist bump from Robb Flynn. That was pretty damn cool too. But yeah, really damn good show. And of course, if you haven't seen Machine Head, definitely see them live if you ever get the chance, if they ever come to your area. But let's go ahead and dive into the ranking. I'll be going from worst to best. Keep in mind, this is just my personal ranking. You don't have to agree with it, but feel free to let me know your ranking in the comment section below. So yeah, at the bottom, I decided to go with this album right here, Supercharger. This album just never really done it for me, and for me, it has some of their most forgettable work or some of their most average work. But yeah, this album by far easily has some of their worst songs, but at the same time, there are a couple songs on here that I do like. I like Bulldozer. They played that song live when I saw them. And Crashing Around You, I like that song too. I know not all fans are into that song, but I personally dig that song. But yeah, outside of those two songs, honestly, the rest of the album, take it or leave it for me. Some of it's fine, but nothing that sticks with me, while other songs I think are just straight up just bad and easily some of their worst material. But yeah, a couple songs I like, but overall, not a fan of this album. And let's go ahead and move on to the next album in my ranking, and that is Catharsis. Yeah, not a fan of this one. Easily one of their weakest, and I'm sure many fans would agree with me on this one. To me, this album probably has some of their worst lyrics, some of their worst songwriting, but kind of like with Supercharger, I do like a couple songs here. I like Volatile, maybe my favorite song on here. And I also like Kaleidoscope. But the rest of the album, not really a big fan. Beyond the Pale is an okay song, but I rarely return to that one, to be honest. But yeah, why I put this album above Supercharger is because at least this album has more memorable songs. Take that for what you will, but I don't know. This album still, even at the end of the day, not that great, and again, easily one of their weakest. But let's go ahead and move on to an album that, honestly, I'm a defender of this album, and sometimes there are even days where I might have this album one or two places up in my ranking, but as of now, this is where I put it. But again, this album and the next two albums honestly kind of move around in my ranking. So next we got The Burning Red. Fairly divisive album in their discography. You're either into the style or you're not. Of course, they kind of went nu metal with this one, but yeah, Desire to Fire and From This Day, those two songs have rapping in them, and I know not everyone's into that, but I actually like those two songs, and they're actually some of my favorites on the album. I'm not a nu metal hater. I actually do like a lot of nu metal. Not all of it. There are definitely some stinkers in that genre, but again, I do like a lot of nu metal. But yeah, again, as I mentioned earlier, I am definitely a defender of this album. There's some pretty good stuff on here. I like Desire to Fire, Nothing Left, The Blood, the Sweat, and the Tears. I think that's easily one of the highlights, and I'm sure many fans would agree with me on that. From This Day, which they did play live when I saw them, that was really cool. I really like that song. I don't care what anyone says. Even though the music video for that song probably hasn't aged all that well still, I don't give a damn. I really like that song. Exhale, The Vial, I really like that song too. Their cover of Message in a Bottle, I'm kind of on the fence about. Part of me thinks it's fine. Part of me is like, yeah, not really feeling it. But not a terrible cover, but not something I return to all that much either way. But yeah, overall, I actually think this album's actually pretty good. It's not going to be for every fan, but personally, I actually like the album. But next we have Through the Ashes of Empires. So yeah, I got the 2-disc version, and yeah, they opened their set with Imperium, and that was really cool. Definitely one of their best songs. But I will admit, when it comes to this album, I think it's one of those albums that has a strong first half and a weaker second half, but at the same time, the second half is not bad though. I do like Vim, Days Turn Blue to Gray. I really like that song. They did also play Bite the Bullet. That's another highlight off the album for me, but yeah, pretty good album from Machine Head. Not one of my personal favorites, but I do like it though. Then we move to Bloodstone and Diamonds. So yeah, honestly, this album and Through the Ashes of Empires, they can go back and forth within my ranking, to be honest. But yeah, with this album, I actually think it's pretty good. They did play Now We Die and Killers and Kings, the first 2 songs on the album. Those 2 songs are pretty good and some of the best songs on the album. But Beneath the Sill, I think, is maybe a contender for maybe being one of the most underrated songs on the album. That's also one of my personal favorites on here. I also like Game Over, another favorite of mine. Ghost Will Haunt My Bones, I really like that one. Sail Into the Black. There's some pretty good songs on here, and if you were into it the first time and haven't listened to it since, definitely give it another chance, definitely give it another listen. Again, pretty good Machine Head album. Now I move to an album that honestly had to grow on me a little bit. I had to give it multiple listens in order for it to really sink in for me or really do it for me, but we are talking about their latest album of Kingdom and Crown. So yeah, this was the album that I was talking about earlier that I also got signed. But yeah, they signed the front cover, but also I had them sign the CD too. Let's see here. So yeah, I had them sign the CD booklet, and I also had them sign the back too. But yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, it was really cool that they did that. But yeah, this is limited to 1,000 copies, so I definitely had to try to get them to at least sign it, especially Rob and Jared. But yeah, when this album first dropped, honestly, I wasn't really feeling it. I liked a few songs, but overall the album just wasn't really connecting with me. It wasn't really clicking with me, but I've given this album multiple and more listens, and it's been growing on me, and it's still growing on me. Overall, it managed to crack my top 5, and I definitely say I like this album much more now compared to when the album first dropped. But there's some pretty good songs on here, and also when I saw them live, they only played one song off of here. It was Choke on the Ashes of Your Hate, which is of course one of the best songs on here, I'd say. Definitely a banger for sure. You also have the album opener, Slaughter the Martyr, which is the epic on the album, another favorite of mine on the album too. Become the Firestorm, another really good song. Rotten is also pretty good. If you like older Machine Head, you should definitely like that song. You also have Arrows and Words from the Sky, which out of all the songs on here that utilize clean vocals, I think this song does it the best. I think this song is pretty damn good, and honestly one of the best songs they've done of their modern era. I'd honestly go that far. But yeah, again, really like the clean vocals or the singing in that song. My Hands Are Empty is a song that's grown on me recently. I don't know if I'd say it's one of my favorites, but still, it has grown on me. I definitely like it more now. No Gods, No Masters is another song that recently grew on me. Wasn't into it the first time, but now I like it more now. But yeah, overall, pretty good album from Machine Head, and it was definitely, again, really cool to get this signed. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next album in my ranking, and it is Unto the Locust. This album is actually pretty damn good, and there isn't a whole lot here in terms of filler. Honestly, I don't know if I'd call any of this filler, but now the last 2 songs maybe my least favorites on the album, but still, especially Who We Are, I really like that one. But Pearls Before the Swine has never been one of my favorites on here, but I do like that song though. But you have some songs in here that honestly I'd maybe say is maybe some of their best work or some of their best songs, like the song Locust, of course, which I did play when I saw them, and This Is the End. I really like that song also. But yeah, if I had to name my top 3 favorites on here, probably Be Still and Now, Locust, and This Is the End. But yeah, really good album. Darkness Within, another really good song, but yeah, had to be in my top 5 easily. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to their sophomore album, The More Things Change. So yeah, not as good as Burn My Eyes, but still pretty good and easily one of their best, I'd say. I mean, yeah, definitely have some classics on here like 10 Ton Hammer and Take My Scars. But yeah, also some other really good songs on here like Down to None. He's always been one of my favorites on here. I also really like Bay of Pigs. The Front Lines has some pretty killer riffs in it. Blistering is also really good. Another solid banger. But yeah, really good album from Machine Head. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to an album that's often considered one of their best or even their best or at the number 1 spot, and that is The Blackening. So yeah, I disagree with it being number 1, but it's easily their top 3. I mean, what a hell of an album. This is really, really good, and you can maybe make the argument that it's maybe one of the best metal albums of the 2000s. I mean, it really is that strong. I mean, it starts off with the epic Clenching the Fists of Dissent, which is easily one of the best songs on here. I love that song. Beautiful Morning, which I think is maybe one of their most underrated songs and also one of my personal favorites on here. Aesthetics of Hate, one hell of a banger. And you also have the big song on here, Halo, which they closed off the set with that song, and I absolutely love that song. I always love that song, definitely in my top 10 when it comes to favorite Machine Head songs. But yeah, really good album. Has to be in the top 3 again. So yeah, we've moved to finally my top spot, and that is their debut album, Burn My Eyes. Now I know a lot of people might put Blackening above this, but I know some people would also put this album above The Blackening. I mean, of course it'll depend on the fan, but for me, this has to go at the top. I really love the production / the sound of the album. I mean, it was produced by Colin Richardson, who I know has worked with other bands that I do enjoy, such as Trivium, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this album's killer. Probably one of the best metal albums to come from the 90s, along with, of course, Vulgar Display of Power from Pantera and Demanufacture by Fear Factory. But yeah, really good album. I mean, you have the classic songs, Davidian and Old. Those songs kick so much ass. Death Church, another classic for them. But we also have a few songs on here that I think are kind of underrated and honestly maybe some of my favorite Machine Head songs, like the album Closer Block. I freaking love that song, and yeah, easily one of my favorites, at least in the top 5. 1,000 Lies, another really good song on here, another highlight. But yeah, honestly, you can't really go wrong with any of the songs in here. Again, definitely one of their best. But yeah, that is my ranking of all the Machine Head albums. Let me know your thoughts on my ranking. Are there replacements that you agree or disagree with? Let me know, of course, your ranking in the comment section below. Let me know favorite albums, least favorite albums, favorite songs, least favorite songs, and all that good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment and a like, subscribe. Have a nice day, and take care.